Early voting began today in Nevada, and Republican Senate candidate Sharon Angle better hope her Hispanic supporters get to the polls before they see the video we're about to bring you. Our number one story, it is one thing to tell members of an ethnic group that to you they all look alike, but it is something else altogether to tell them that many of them look like a different ethnic group. Asked by Hispanic high school students why she would use images of Hispanic men to fearmonger about illegal immigration, Sharon Angle pretended not to see race before telling the Hispanic Student Union that some of them could pass for Asian. First big party at the launch of the Tea Party Express bus tour in Reno, Nevada this morning. One of the big messages, don't vote for Nevada's Tea Party candidate.
Just in case any of you think that the Tea Party candidate on the ballot has anything at all to do with the Tea Parties, he doesn't. He is a fraud.
Okay, now you confused us utterly. The guy in the Gadsden flag hoodie referring to Tea Party Nevada candidate Scott Ashton, who remains on the ballot despite Angle's pleading and her claim that she can get Ashton some of Mitch McConnell's juice. Back in Reno, candidate Angle was legally prohibited from attending the big bus tour kickoff because the group's PAC has spent money on her behalf, so instead a Sarah from Alaska filled in.
I can see November from my house. I thank you for being so bold in your support of Sharon, too. You know, bless her heart, the stuff that they have thrown at her and just tried to clobber her with, and yet she's still standing.
Last Friday, Sharon Angle, or Shang Angle as Ms. Palin would call her, was standing in front of the Hispanic Student Union at the Nevada Rancho High School. Students organized the meeting with Angle to discuss her use of negative racial stereotyping in her campaign ads, particularly the imagery of Hispanic men with flashlights creeping around our fences. Ms. Angle told the kids it was all a big misunderstanding. One of the students recorded the exchange.
Why is it that in all your commercials have the image of Latinos? What do you see when you hear, and I quote, illegal aliens?
I think that you're misinterpreting those commercials. I'm not sure that those are Latinos in that commercial. What it is a fence, and there are people coming across that fence. What we know is that our northern border is where the terrorists came through.
The Canada-Nevada border? They weren't Latinos, they were Canadians? The school's teachers telling the Associated Press, quote, some of the kids, they couldn't help but chuckle at that. The conversation continued.
I don't know that all of you are Latino. Some of you look a little more Asian to me. I don't know that. What we know about ourselves is that we are a melting pot in this country. My grandchildren are evidence of that. I'm evidence of that. I've been called the first Asian legislator in our Nevada State Assembly.
However, a Countdown investigation has confirmed what the Associated Press first reported today. Quoting the AP story, Angle says she herself has been called Nevada's first Asian legislator. Angle is white. An Angle spokesperson today telling John Ralston of the Las Vegas Sun in a statement that somehow this is Harry Reid's fault. Quoting, this is a low blow from Harry Reid. Sharon is making the point that this country is a melting pot and you cannot judge people based on stereotypes or the way they look. When she was in the legislature, a reporter mistakenly referred to Sharon as being of Asian descent. Let's bring in the aforementioned John Ralston, political analyst and columnist of the Las Vegas Sun. John, good evening.
Hi, Keith.
How is Sharon Angle's juice with Hispanic voters these days?
Well, I think she had her juice spiked before she went into that meeting over at Rancho High School. I know you're jealous, Keith. I know you want to be out here covering this because it's one spectacle after another, and that one was especially bizarre. I mean, I was there in 1999 when Sharon Angle started in the Assembly. No one was under the mistaken impression she was Asian. I had no idea where that was coming from. But you have to wonder, Keith, why she said the first thing, which was about as if she didn't know that those images were being used, those very controversial images that have now forced her ad, and as you know, David Vitter's ad, to be pulled down of those so-called Hispanic thugs that apparently were based in Ottawa or Winnipeg or somewhere like that. I mean, it was just totally bizarre what she was saying there, Keith. And of course, that begs this question. Why did she go there in the first place? What is her campaign thinking letting her go to that meeting?
Other than the affiliation of the Las Vegas AAA baseball team with the Toronto Blue Jays, is there any kind of Canadian, Nevadan border issue that we're not aware of in the rest of the non-Nevada 49?
Well, I'm going to have to go get my daughter's geography book to make sure that I didn't miss anything back in high school. I don't know if you saw it today, Keith, but the Canadian ambassador is now demanding an apology from Sharon Angle, adding his name to the mayor of Dearborn, who is also demanding an apology for another crazy comment she made about Sharia law ruling in Dearborn. So it just keeps getting better and better.
Well, you could hear the kids giggling, and you sort of feel their recoil when she said some of them may have looked a little Asian. At any point, do these moments cost Sharon Angle votes, or is she in one of these bubbles where her supporters are just going to take any factual mistake on her part as an attack on her by, the infidel media?
Or the infidel Harry Reid, right?
Yeah.
Or because you read from that statement. It's incredible that they are blindly loyal to her. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of people who aren't even necessarily loyal to Sharon Angle who just despise, hate, loathe Harry Reid so much, Keith, that they don't care what Sharon Angle does or says, they are going to vote for her. That's the dynamic that Harry Reid has to deal with. That's why he's tried to expose a lot of things that she said in his ads. His ads use almost exclusively her own words against her, and while it's brought her negatives up, his are so high that's why this race is a toss-up right now.
There was a large crowd at that event in Reno today, and a lot of people obviously are passionate about her campaign, and this is not just true for her campaign, but give me an assessment. Do they understand the prospect that she might lose? What happens if she loses? What do the next 6 years look like in that state? A sort of a constant plea for a recount?
Well, I think the greatest fear is that word recount. Nobody wants to see that. But she has definitely developed a fervent following, not just here, but across the country. As you know, Keith, she raised $14 million from across the country in the third quarter. And I have to believe that if Sharon Angle were to lose, she will immediately turn her sights on yet another member of the establishment, but this time a Republican by the name of John Ensign, who's sitting there, a walking corpse right there in Washington, D.C.
John Ralston, political analyst, columnist of the Las Vegas Sun, and with that beard, you look like that guy from Flash Gordon. Were you in Flash Gordon? I'm sorry, my inner Sharon Angle just came out.
I prefer Chuck Todd,
That's
by
it.
the way.
That's who I meant. Chuck Todd from Flash Gordon. Thank you, John.
All right.